This video will show you how to add a highlight to your dashboard. A highlight is also known as a conditional format, a visual format that applies only when certain conditions are met by the data. We'll use this chart and table to show you the basics of applying highlights. The chart displays the percent change in sales for each month from the previous month. What we'd like to do here is highlight all of the percent values that fall below 0. To do this, right-click on the chart and select Highlight, Percent Change from Previous, Sum Total. To add a new highlight, press the Add button and provide a name for the highlight. In this case, we'll call it less than 0. Specify the color for the bars on the chart, and then press the Edit button below the Conditions panel. Enter the condition that will determine when the visual highlight is applied. In this case, the condition is percent change from previous is less than 0. Press Append to add the condition and press OK to close the dialog box. Press OK again to apply the highlight. The bars on the chart that represent a percent change less than 0 are now highlighted in red. For the table, we'd like to add a two-part highlight. We'd like to highlight rows where the quantity is less than or equal to 5 in red, and highlight rows where the quantity is less than or equal to 10 in orange. To do this, right-click on any cell in the table and select Highlight. To create the new highlight, press the Add button and provide a name for the first of the two highlights. For a table, the highlight can specify a foreground color, the color of the text in the cell, a background color, the color of the cell fill, or a font specification. In this case, we'll apply a simple highlight that simply sets the foreground color of the text to red. Set the condition on which this highlight should apply by pressing the Edit button below the Conditions panel. The condition is quantity purchased is less than or equal to 5. Press Append to add the condition, then press OK. The second of the two highlights that we want to add to the table will apply an orange color to values of quantity purchased that are less than or equal to 10. Again, press the Add button at the top and provide a name for the highlight. Specify the visual property for the highlight, in this case a foreground color of orange, and then set the condition. Press Append to add the condition and press OK. When both highlights have been specified, press OK again to apply the highlights. Note that values in the quantity column that are less than 5 are highlighted in red, and values in the quantity column that are less than 10 are highlighted in orange. To apply the specified highlights to the entire row rather than simply to the column that we had selected, right-click again and select Highlight. Select each highlight in turn and enable the Apply to Row property. If the less than 5 highlight is below the less than 10 highlight in the list, select it and press the Up button to move the less than 5 highlight above the less than 10 highlight. The more specific highlight should always be at the top of the list, and we'll see why in just a moment. Press OK to apply the highlight. As you can see, the entire row is now highlighted where the highlight condition is satisfied, either less than or equal to 5 or less than or equal to 10. If we reverse the order of the highlights in the highlight list, for example by moving the less than 5 highlight below the less than 10 highlight, you will find that the more specific highlight is no longer applied. This is because the formatting from the more general highlight is overwriting the more specific highlight formatting. To avoid this, either place the more specific highlights higher in the list of highlights, or create highlight definitions that do not overlap. For example, in this case, we can change the less than 10 highlight to something that does not overlap with the less than 5 highlight. For example, from 5 to 10. Then change the condition for this new highlight by pressing the Edit button below the Conditions panel, and add the additional logic. This particular highlight condition will now apply only to values that are greater than 5 and less than 10, and hence it can no longer overwrite the less than 5 highlight. Press OK to save the highlight, and press OK to apply the highlights. You can apply highlights to text components and image components in the same way.